TV.
Welcome to the business conversation once again. Asante sana for joining us. I'm Odipo G, kama kawaida, with Nick and Jackson Kanyarati. And we've been talking about the agribusiness value chain. And we went through and through just demystifying the differences between agriculture, the differences between agribusiness and agro-processing. All of them are different. We've gone through the process of understanding the importance of getting into farming and having an agribusiness mindset with an agribusiness expectation, as opposed to how many people get into farming with an agribusiness expectation and then with the results with an agribusiness expectation, but their minds is on agriculture. So at the end of the day, we looked at those differences and we started looking at various value chains. One of the ones that we've handled with, or the first one we tackled with, was the avocado value chain, and we looked at how we can be able to just get into the avocado value chain, not just avocado farming in terms of the agricultural part of avocado. Today we are looking at, again, something that I stumbled upon, which I think it's very, very exciting, which is rosemary. Something that is a shrub, literally. It is a shrub in our societies. It is grown as a fence. In fact, when I was trying to explain it to a friend one day, he told me how, I don't know what rosemary is, but after I showed him the picture, he said, this is a fence. I told him, yes, that is a fence. And that fence is so valuable, you would not believe it. And that's what we want to touch on today. We look at how it can be incorporated into the various industries. We look at some of its benefits. We look at why it is a worthwhile cash crop. We look at where it can be able to grow and how you can be able to plug in, and not just on the planting bit of it. Karibu sana, gentlemen. Here we are once again looking at rosemary. It's something actually that Nick touched on when he was mentioning about the alternative crops. Yes. The way we can be able to plant alternative crops in a place like Kitale. Yes. And then I remembered, by the way, rosemary, you know. But just in general, as we start, what other alternative crops have you seen in your experience as farmers, as people in the agribusiness space, that can be planted in various regions that right now are planting specific crops? For instance, I mentioned the way in Mumias, the crop that is taking up majority of the land there is sugarcane. Mm-hmm. Yet, the same region can be able to grow sugar beet. Yes. And it can still produce sugar from sugar beet.
With less stress.
With less stress, and it is more valuable. You see?
And the sugar content of sweetness is higher.
Is higher.
I think it Taveta has one of the best sugarcane varieties.
Mm-hmm. So, but what are they planting now?
I don't even know if they know they can plant anything.
Really?
But Taveta is a good place. Most guys do onions around there and stuff like that, closer to the TZ border.
No, in fact, the place with most of them is Loitoktok, not
Loitoktok for the tomatoes and onions.
Even onions too. Yeah, they're very big in that. And then they have a lot of water coming from the Kilimanjaro area. Yeah. So that's a key plus.
This is the most interesting thing. Why haven't we get a lot of onions from TZ?
Yes.
And also a lot of onions from Oloitoktok. Yeah. Why doesn't Oloitoktok produce garlic?
Nobody has told them they can.
My point exactly.
We are completely, we've agreed, I think ignorance is our biggest problem.
No, are we sure they're not producing, or are we sure, or somebody has not tried, or the person who has tried it there is so small scale that we cannot notice?
In volumes, I am yet to see someone who's producing large volumes in comparison to onions. When it comes to onions, those people don't joke. Yeah. Those Maasais down there, they know onions. Yeah. Planting onions. And onions and garlic are more or less from the same family. Yeah. So they share a lot of climatic conditions in terms of how they can be able to grow. Yes. You know? And for me, I have found more value in terms of value addition, in terms of the business side of farming, in garlic than in onions. You see, you can do more or less the same thing, but in terms of agriculture, onion makes sense. I think that's why people plant it.
And let me tell you for sure, the onion is a very simple crop to grow.
Yeah.
It is relatively simple. Yet, even today, we cannot satisfy our local demand.
That's why we have to get from
They say
Tanzania.
We don't even have.
you interact
so
with
in
that
terms-
onion every day
yes,
in Kenya.
Everyone is always talking about it. There's no food that is made in this country without an onion. But we are importing a lot of those onions.
When we were growing up, there was someone who used to sell onions. Alikuwa used to say hiyo ndio marashi ya mboga.
Kwanza skuma bila ni flat. Haina utamu.
If you don't
Yes,
have-
you've mentioned areas in Kenya that can look at alternative crops. Yeah, look at, there's a place that is very, very remote in this country. I doubt either of you has heard it. The place is called Uyoma.
Uyoma. That's not a song. Oh no, Uyoga. Oh, the song. Yeah, sorry.
Uyoma. Uyoma produced the best cotton and they used to sell it to Kikomi initially. They can do wheat currently. But are they doing it now?
Where is Uyoma? Which county is that?
Uyoma is in Siaya County. Districts that you know are around Uyoma are Bondo, yes. And a place called Madiany, a place called Ndigwa, a place called, you've heard Asembo, that area. This is the best cotton that comes from
Interesting. Speaking of cotton, do you know that once upon a time Busia also used to produce a lot of cotton?
Yeah.
But I think it's the whole western part of this country
That produce
that
cotton.
has the capacity
I
to produce
personally,
the cotton.
I have harvested cotton. I know how to harvest cotton.
You do?
Yeah, because I come from Uyoma.
Okay.
So that is how it's but now guys are doing I think with the opening of the EABL factory in Kisumu, there's been the demand for wheat and all that
And also millet.
and millet and it grows there, but I've been traveling around those sides. I doubt I have seen, but yeah, there is. I can't say it's not there because otherwise EABL wouldn't have grown, would have gone there. Yeah, but these, can they grow barley? Things we need to look at.
They can.
You see,
I'll give you an example.
because I find them to be sister crops. So if you say they can, yeah, they can.
They can. But let me take you even now out of that. Now that you've mentioned that, Laikipia is generally marginal, very good for animal husbandry, especially cattle for meat kind of animals, beef.
Beef farming.
So let me tell you this. Those places today, some of them have farms that are more than 10,000, about 10,000 acres. And guys are leasing land and growing wheat.
Yeah, Narok, same. Narok is...
No, Laikipia is beyond Mount Kenya on this other side.
the other side of
And then over and above that, the tomatoes, the guys are growing. And what you have, which is lacking in many parts of this country, is the scale at which you can grow them.
Yes.
Most places, apart from Mount Narok, like you were mentioning, Narok, maybe Kajiado area, those are the places where you can get those tracts of land. But now you can see places like Laikipia are standing up for that difference which we can get. Because many people who are what you call agribusiness people, with the agricultural in their minds, their mindset and everything, they're looking at volumes.
Yes.
And then on top of that, many of them don't even want to own the land permanently.
Yes.
All they want to do is lease. So even if you have a big tract of land, the idea is to get into contract with somebody who leases your land, pays you a monthly or yearly fee, and they grow the crop.
And speaking of volumes, let me just touch on, hopefully one day we'll also touch on the value chain of chili. Because it's quite wide with the types of chilies and everything. So for instance, many people when they're getting into farming, they think of volumes, which is agriculture. So someone will say, like many times I get phone calls, someone is telling me I want to start farming. It's my first time farming and I want to do 5 acres. I tell them, why do you have to do 5 acres? Just start with 1. No, I want to make money, you see. But if you understand agribusiness and agro-processing, you'll know that 1 acre of chili can give you more, if not equivalent, to 5 acres of fresh. For instance, when you plant 5 acres of fresh and then sell them at fresh, you'll probably sell at 50 to 80 shillings a kg, depending on the season, okay? You'll probably harvest 5 to 10 tons an acre, give or take, When you process 1 acre of chili, when you process that 10 tons,
By processing, you mean you value add?
you value add. So you dry.
Which would be what in this
For
case?
instance, you sun dry, and then you grind into powder. Okay? 100 grams, 100 grams averages between 100 and 150.
You're saying you multiply more than 10 times.
Yes. So that brings 1 kg to around 1,000 to 1,500 Kenya shillings.
A kilo.
A kilo.
Whoa.
And you've harvested how many tons?
You've harvested, give or take, about 10 tons. Yeah. So when you look at those volumes for just 1 acre in terms of agro processing, it beats the aspect of
Just selling the fresh
selling
produce.
without value.
And that's why I wanted us to also look at to touch on rosemary, today, because I have seen like it's one of those neglected crops. People have it but do not know what to do with it. For instance, I came to know the value of African bird's eye after knowing what it is. Where I come from,
Who is the bird? Which is the eye?
it's a type of chili. Sorry, Polybus. So African bird eye, ABE, is a type of chili. It's a small one. It's tiny, like this.
Bullet, like a small bullet.
It looks like a small bullet, exactly. Although there's a chili called bullet. Yes, which is bigger. So when we were growing up at my grandmother's place, we actually had bushes of ABE, African bird's eye, all over the compound. And in the region where we were, which is Mumias, like every homestead had African bird's eye. It was wild. It was nothing. You could literally walk on the path and get a bush of bird's eye has grown very well. It was valueless in the area where I was when I was growing up. It is only now that when I started doing agribusiness, I have seen, hey, this thing is actually valuable. Now you see, going to Mumias and telling a farmer that, by the way, I want you to cut your sugarcane and plant this thing, they'll tell you, this thing is valueless. Because to them, it's agriculture. Now, when it comes to rosemary, it's worse.
Because it's abundantly available.
In fact, that's the key.
It is abundantly available. Yeah. It grows just about... I'm yet to find a place where rosemary cannot be able to grow.
So long as you have a pH of between 6 and 7, you're okay. You can grow rosemary. And that is literally...
And that's the key.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And that's everywhere in this country.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and our temperature, our climatic conditions for even growing that product called rosemary is amazing. But even as I sit here, and a person who has a good idea about rosemary, show me one person who's growing 5 acres of rosemary anywhere in this country.
Odipo.
But my point exactly. He has done his homework. Yes. He knows how to value it. Yes. He knows what he can do with it. Yes. Why are you growing more than 5 acres of...
Actually, it's way more than 5 acres. It's about...
I said more than.
Yes, we have more than. Because of what we realized rosemary can do. You see, you were mentioning to us when we were just out there some of the benefits.
Amazing.
You see that
amazing, amazing.
You'll just give us those benefits are quite outstanding. And if you realize the benefits that you actually have come up with and realized are of different industries.
Yes.
So one of the things I love about rosemary that made us plant it as our primary crop is that it cuts across industries. So it can be used in the food industry, it can be used in the medical industry, and it can also be used in the cosmetic industry. These are 3 key main areas when it comes to the human race.
Next time on Clean Money Monday.
You have mentioned it can be used also as a repellent for things like mosquitoes.
Do you know it goes even far? Do you know even you can get pain relief by consuming the extracts of rosemary? Yes. And it's because it even goes further, it even helps with stress reliever.
When it comes to matters to do with agriculture and stuff, so long as you found your own area to plug in, you will never satisfy the demand.
At all, which is very true, because especially when it comes to edibles. You see, agribusiness is not like selling this cup. If I buy this cup, I'll probably need one. Yeah. Probably never. But whatever is in this cup, chances are I will need it again tomorrow. Of course. Think about it. We have used the exact same cups every single time we have done the run of the show.
Washed clean.
They were.
This is Clean Money TV.